Most things in the animal kingdom that have ears have them for a reason. And I think it's to pay attention. And I think a lot of modern humans are kind of the exception to that, in that we're often not paying attention to what the other things are telling us in the world, what the rest of the world is saying, the other things that are alive. And that's odd. I think it's odd in the course of evolution, in the course of this planet, to not pay attention to what the other species are saying to us. I really spent a lot of time trying to develop my hearing all around me. Close my eyes and just listen. Okay, there was an alarm of a thrush behind me. There's raindrops all around me. There's a stick that just broke ahead of me in the east. And I really like the study of bird language because the birds are constantly making different noises and kind of calling us to attention. So I think it helped, yeah. So then you ask about the mechanism of listening. If I tell myself, pay attention to the birds. Song of the American Robin. Rufous-sided towhee. It's a great little song. Is say it's like drink your tea. He goes. People say I'm a bird language expert, wildlife tracking expert. I do a lot of that as well. We started White Pine programs since back in 1999, and we've been doing year-round nature connection experiences for people all ages since. The work I do is helping get people outside and remembering what it's like to be a part of the natural world, remembering the cool feelings and getting in their senses, and I get people excited about nature. I think for a lot of humans that carry around this idea that we're separate or different and we put a wall around us. Like there's nature and there's us. I think a lot of practices will take people to that place of dissolving that wall, letting that wall go and creating oneness. I was sitting down with someone who runs a yoga studio the other day and we had this great chat and she's like, yeah, it's just all of, she goes, people show up to me because they want to unplug, slow down, connect, and be present. I was like, totally. That's what we're doing in the woods as well. So to unplug, slow down, connect, be present. It's medicine, it's healing. Often people struggle just slowing down and letting go of noise inside their head. Basically it comes down to, am I paying attention? Am I present? Am I in this moment? Am I aware of what's going on around me? Our minds are designed to be paying attention to a lot of things, like even the idea of like situational awareness, like where am I, what's happening around me, who are these people? Like I think multitasking like that, it's a hyper focus on like small little things, like a small little bubble that cuts people off, that disconnects people from our innate relationship with nature, and including each other. So I think that's a microcosm of us getting distracted by our own stuff and getting over-focused to not paying attention to what's going on around us. So that's why, like the birds, even right now, like I can hear the goldfinches singing. That reminds me, like, the world's a lot bigger than my own little pile of work here in front of me and my own little dramas that may show up and create in my own world, but it's bigger than that. It's more important than that. I think birds are great triggers kind of to bring us to the current moment. Because they're awake when we're awake. They're universal, pretty much. It's hard to find a habitat that doesn't have birds. Even in deep urban areas, there's generally going to be birds. And they're super vocal. There's often bird noises happening around us. If we want to be frequently reminded to be present, choose something that's going to be out there reminding us. The birds are constantly making different noises and kind of calling us to attention. It just forces me to be in that place of listening way beyond me. That's what we call our sphere of awareness. When I'm not really aware, I'm not listening a lot beyond me. I'm often not paying attention to even the sounds I'm making. So even as I walk down this trail, you probably notice I'm not dragging my feet, I'm not jumping on sticks. I like to walk on quieter things because I can maintain that sensory integrity. I can listen better if I'm not being a noisemaker. When people have some sort of practice of connecting and presence, or whatever you want to call it, tuning in, I generally find those people to be a bit more compassionate to others, not necessarily even just other people, but there's the living things around them, just more mindful of their behaviors and actions. Also, I see a lot of gratitude come from people who do these practices, because you just start to realize, like, we are so blessed. Like, we live in an amazing, despite how we may be treating it at times in different ways, despite what you think about how humans interact with the world, it's an amazing world. It's just crazy that it's crazy that we exist, that I'm like can do this, I can talk, and everything in my system is working. Yeah, but it wasn't birds at first. Birds weren't my gateway to nature, really. It was actually running. It was actually the idea of like the hunt, the idea of a chase, the idea of going out and finding things. As a teenager, I was way into distance running. I'd heard tales of all sorts of different cultures, where as rites of passage, they would have young men or women go out and actually like run down and touch animals. And I thought, that is so cool. I was totally captured by that idea. Just the idea of literally touching the wild, right? So someone growing up in a suburban area and a very kind of organized, human-dominated landscape, there's always that allure of the wild. I think it's in a lot of us. For me, something about touching wildness, that's what it is. So I'm not just living a life of I would say bland, watered down, domesticated experience of being alive, but a wilder experience of being alive. Yeah, because to me, it just reminds me of how much bigger the world is, how interesting and exciting the world is, and how much more there still is to see and learn and do in the world. It's a great crested flycatcher, also known as the Elvis bird, because it has a big poofy hairdo. It's pretty Elvis-y, it's awesome.